Hi everybody, it is Dr. Debbie Pates here. Welcome to Wellness Wednesday, a joint production of the UCCS Wellness Center and the Gallery of Contemporary Arts on campus. The gallery is now open for scheduled appointments. So if you want to go see the artwork that is in the gallery, I believe it's the show that was open when everything got closed because of COVID got held over. So I'm pretty sure that that's still the show that you can see, and you would have to make an appointment, go online and do that. And hopefully someday we will be back practicing in the gallery. And in the meantime, I hope that you are enjoying the nice weather. I was a little bit reluctant to come inside myself. As many of you know, I love being outside, and a lot of times through the summer, we practice outside. And hopefully, we will be doing at least one, maybe more, live, in person, socially distanced yoga classes outside GOCA before the weather changes. So stay tuned on that. Daisy and I are going to need to continue discussing that. But anyhow, in the meantime, let's do some yoga. Come onto your knees if you aren't on your knees. Maybe you're already in child's pose. Make your way to Make your way to child's pose. So knees can be wide, knees can be together. Wherever you are, let your head rest on the mat. And begin to notice your breath. And begin to get quiet. Maybe you haven't been talking that much today, maybe you have. But when I say get quiet, I mean in your mind. Perhaps using the breath as a way to allow yourself to really just drop into the present moment. Just listening to the inhales and the exhales as you breathe. Without needing to control your breath. Just letting yourself breathe and letting yourself ground. I invite you to scan your body. And just become aware of whatever you become aware of, right? So if there's something painful, that's normally our first go-to. You know, I feel that, for me, I call it my stress muscle. I get really tight in between my shoulder blades on the left side. So, you know, when that is activated for me, often that's the first thing I notice. So allow yourself to notice what might be hurting, what might be sore, and then expand your awareness to include the things that are flowing really freely, the things that are not hurting. And maybe in this child's pose, and before we begin moving, bring a moment of appreciation for all of those things that are working just the way they should, and that aren't giving you any problems. And for all of the things that our body does for us all the time. Scanning your body as a way to appreciate what your body is going to do for you over the next 55 minutes or so. And a way that you can return that appreciation by not pushing too hard or pushing hard enough, you know, not underselling yourself, whatever it is. One more breath in, out, and then as you're ready, push up onto your hands and knees. And move through some cat-cows or whatever other movements your body feels like making today. Perhaps rounding, inhaling, and exhaling, in cat and cow. Moving side to side, back and forth. And then let's start with, walk your hands forward again. We're going to come to, actually, stay in child's pose, stay hands and knees. And let's do a twist. I was going to take us into Anahatasana and then do the twist, but let's do it from here. So lift up your right arm, and your body's not warm at all unless you just came back from a run or something. So you might not lift your arm very high. And let's actually just hang out here a moment. So allow your stomach to begin to, as you breathe, twist. Try not to crunch too much into your left shoulder as you lift your right arm. Allow your breath to continue, and then bring your right arm underneath your left armpit and bring the top of your right shoulder onto the mat. And make whatever adjustments you need to. Let your right ear come onto the mat, or perhaps your forehead onto the mat. Whatever adjustments you need to, maybe shifting your hips around a little, maybe walking your left hand up a bit. Some people in this position like to put their hands in prayer, whatever you like. But just to get a stretch through the right side of your body, top of your right shoulder, maybe you feel it through your left shoulder as well, your neck. Just noticing where you do feel it and appreciating the sensation. And then come on back, hands and knees. Let's do as a bodily palate cleanser. And then, same thing other side. So ground into your right hand and gently lift up your left arm. Gently lift up your left arm. And play around with allowing your rib cage to turn to your left, allowing yourself to come up out of your right shoulder. And then as you feel ready, come on into that threading the needle. So as you feel ready, bring your left hand, left arm, underneath your right armpit, palm facing up, left ear or your forehead onto the mat, and shift around so that you get the stretch. So don't look at what I'm doing unless you are confused. And if you do look at what I'm doing, only look at it to get the general shape, but don't expect your body to look like my body, because it doesn't and it won't. And you limit yourself and you limit your practice by trying to make yourself look like me or the person you might be practicing with or the person you saw doing this in yoga journal. Come on back to your hands and knees, that little palate cleanser, nice to your neck here, check in with whatever your body's feeling. And then let's start to make our way into downward facing dog. So tuck your toes, lift your knees, maybe you walk so tuck your toes, lift your knees, right from hands and knees. And then what I want you guys to do is shift forward. And what you're going to notice is that your hands are behind your shoulders. So drop your knees, walk your hands until they're underneath your shoulders, and then lift your knees back up. So now you're in an upper push-up, a high plank position. You might even walk your feet back, a drop. Hands are underneath your shoulders, your core is engaged, you're pushing your heels back, you're trying to have your butt in a line, your whole body in a line. That's why it's called plank, right? You're like a plank. And that doesn't mean you don't have a butt that is round or breasts or whatever, but you want your body to be as flat as it can be. And then, without moving your hands and your feet, push into your hands, send your butt up into the air, let your heels drop down, inverted V, also known as downward facing dog. So perhaps this down dog is a little bit wider than the down dogs that you normally do. And that, if you are playing around with that, you might notice decreases your stability and also increases your level of challenge. And if you want, you can even amp that up a little bit by walking your feet back even further, walking your hands even more forward. And you feel very unstable here, but what that does is, rather than, I'm not trying to jack up your practice, you engage more, right? You really challenge yourself to push your hands into the ground. You lift up from your navel so that your stomach is engaged. I'm feeling a lot more of a shake in my arms than I usually do. And then from this very wide downward facing dog that you might not have taken if it didn't feel right to you, but if it did, just from this down dog, take a couple more breaths. Breathe. And if you didn't do it, and you're thinking, hey, maybe I want to give it a try, you still got a couple breaths. Let your heels sink. So you're in a very wide down dog. And notice what's showing up for you. Notice how your body is responding differently and what your mind is creating around that. And then carefully, baby steps. Just take like a couple inches. And really, as you walk toward the top of your mat, allow your heels to drop down. Just begin to notice how high you get. You might come up on your fingertips. How far you need to get to the top of the mat, toward the top of the mat, before you can drop your heels. You're just noticing. You're not judging. And then ragdoll, hanging ragdoll. Knees are soft. Maybe you allow your torso to sway back and forth a little bit. You might bend your elbows and tuck hands and crook of opposite elbow. And whatever you're doing with your upper body, your arms, let your head be heavy. Let your brain drop. Let your neck be long and soft. Interlace your hands behind your head and place your thumbs at your hairline, or where your hairline would be if you're bald. And let your elbows come by your ears. So don't pull down, but create like a basket for your head with your arms. And let the weight of your arms give some traction to your neck. Maybe even you think about an inhale, you can engage your stomach and your quadriceps. And on your exhale, you can drape your torso even further. The exhale, like a stream that helps you flow down even further. And then release your hands and roll up to standing. Soft knees are optimal for most people here. And when you get to standing, roll your shoulders up and back and down. Lift your kneecaps, engage your quadriceps. Shine your palms forward. Inhale your arms up. And just bring your hands together overhead and pull that energy into your heart and pause for a moment. And take a few breaths with your hands at your heart. Perhaps feeling your pulse, your prana, your life force. Perhaps noticing your breath. And then let's do some sun salutations. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, hands through heart center or swan dive forward. Halfway lift, lengthen your spine, engage your stomach. forward fold. Sweep your arms out and up. Rise with a flat back. Bring your hands together overhead. Energy into your heart. Once again, sweep your arms up and fall forward. Bow forward, dive forward. Halfway lift, lengthen your spine, and keep your neck long. And this time, put your hands down and step back, high plank position. Lower halfway or all the way, chaturanga, or until you're laying on the ground. Keep your elbows hugged in. Shoulders roll back, heart rolls open. Cobra or downward facing dog. And then roll over your toes, lift your hips to the sky, downward facing dog. Breathe. So we just started fall, actually. What day? Monday, I believe, was the vernal equinox. And so if you've practiced with me before, you know that at the change of the seasons, I like to do a mandala flow for sun B. Look in between your hands and step, jump, hop to the top of your space, lengthen, inhale, soften, exhale, fold, arms out, rise up with a flat back, bring your hands together overhead, and bring your hands into your heart. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Put your hands down, and if you remember, step back to plank with the opposite foot. Inhale and exhale, chaturanga, upward facing dog or cobra, always is an option, downward facing dog. So we're going to do a mandala flow in a few moments. Another sun A first, but also we are in what Jews call the 10 days of awe, the period between Rosh Hashanah, the New Year, and Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. And the New Year is always a reminder of cycles. Talk more about that soon. Look up, make your way to the top of your space. You can maybe even do a little hop if you want, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Sweep out, sweep up, rise. Hands overhead. Bring some of that goodness into your own heart. One more sun A. Rise, fold, lift, plank to chaturanga, 2, up dog, to downward facing dog. Look in between your hands and make your way to the top of your space. I've been playing around with jumping more in my own practice. Halfway lift, forward fold, bend your knees. Utkatasana, chair pose. So in chair, actually, let's do this. I was taking a class the other day and the teacher gave some really helpful cues. So come into chair, sink into Utkatasana, but leave your arms down. Leave your arms down. And then engage your arms, almost like airplane arms behind you. And then notice, sink a little bit more, pull your knees back. And now what I want you to do is roll your shoulders up and back and down. And then become aware of your ribs. And you want to engage your stomach and tuck just a little bit. So you're not looking to take the curve out of your back, but you're looking to take out that exaggeration of the curve. Right? So you tuck, you engage your abdomen here. And then maybe you lift your arms up, biceps by your ears. And then reconnect with that tuck, sink a little bit lower, breathe. And then you know what? Let's do something. Drop your butt on the ground. keep your arms up if they were, or lift them. Navasana, boat pose. I absolutely hate this pose, but I did an online class with Baron Baptiste the other day, and he loves Navasana. So I thought we'd throw it in. You can have your hands up. You can have your hands behind your knees. What you want to do here is avoid rounding and sinking. So you want to, once again, bring your body, engage your stomach, bring your shoulder blades on your back. Some people can straighten their legs in this posture. That's really hard for me. My hamstrings don't like it. You might be able to straighten your arms. And then let's try to come up without touching the ground. Let's try to come up without touching the ground. Back into Utkatasana. So I'm going to cheat. I'm going to roll back and give myself some momentum. Yaha! Well, I stood up anyway, not in Utkatasana. Okay, guys, chair. We'll do a little bit of tucking and curling because that felt good. Actually, before we do the rest of this, I keep changing the plan. Are you noticing that? Sit back down and rock and roll a bit. Hug your knees into your chest, maybe hold behind your knees, and rock back and forth. Our bodies like to rock. It's soothing to us as we're children. When we're older, we sit in rocking chairs. Just rock. Play. Be playful. Maybe in this new year, new Jewish year, you can find a little more play. And now, come on back up, if you can, without your hands, and get to Utkatasana. Nice. Woo! Well, that was fun. Okay, back to the original plan. Okay, from chair pose, we're going to move into a mandala flow. A mandala is a circle. So we're going to do something twice on the right side. You'll end up in the first facing the back of your mat, then you'll come back around. And then we're going to do it on our left. Forward, fold. It's not complicated. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold, step back, high plank. Chaturanga, lower. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up. Bend your knee, open up your hip. So, actually we'll do it on the right side first and then the left side, just so you get a sense of what we're going to do. And then we'll do the mandala. Make circles if that feels good. And then bring your right leg back up and step it through for a low lunge. Spin your back foot flat and rise warrior one. So this will also give us a chance to land in the postures, right? To give our bodies a little benefit of muscle memory on the second round when we do the mandala. So push into your back foot. Maybe your back arch of your foot is in line with your front heel. But for a lot of people, that makes it very hard to try to orient your hips toward the front. So if that's hard for you, don't worry about it. And then from here, open up, warrior two. Reach your right arm forward, your left arm back. Perhaps you gaze over your right fingertips. Maybe you keep your head in line with your chest. And then reach forward here. Reach. Take it slowly. Take the reach slow. Keep the bend in your knee. Really elongate. And then allow your right hand to come down, maybe to the inside or the outside of your right foot. If you haven't tried that before, maybe give it a try. Right? So what if in this new year we begin trying new things? We challenge ourselves, right? This is a stakes challenge unless you have some sort of injury. So maybe give it a try. Expand your limits. Okay, so from extended side angle, we're going to come up, 5-pointed star. So you straighten your arms, straighten your legs, and parallel your feet. And then come to warrior two at the back of your mat. Warrior two at the back of your mat. And then flip your left palm. And once again, reach forward, creating length. And then reverse your warrior. Left arm Reaching up as your left knee reaches in front of you. Left arm up, left knee forward. Your neck can be looking up at your hand, or your neck can be looking down to next. Look at things. And then from here, windmill your hands down. Come up on your right toe, step your left foot back. High plank, low plank, upward facing dog. 2, downward facing dog. So we'll do all of this quickly. I'm going to turn around so my back isn't to you guys. Again, we'll do all of this quickly in a minute. So you're facing the back of your mat right now. Lift up your left leg. Bend your knee. Open your hip. Whatever circles feel good. Don't forget to keep breathing, please. Come on back up. Bring your left foot forward. Spin your right foot flat. And rise up. Warrior 1. So pushing the back foot in to get your right hip facing forward. Sinking gently into your left knee. And then when you're ready, Virabhadrasana 2, opening up to Warrior 2. Reach your left arm forward, perhaps gazing over your left fingertips. Keep your left knee tracking out over the left pinky toe. You don't want to allow your knee to collapse inward. And then reach, reach, reach. Get nice, juicy length on both sides of your body. An extended side angle. Again, maybe you experiment. Maybe you allow yourself to try putting your hand down on the ground and see. So we want to keep both sides of our body long, which for a lot of people, that's easier to do when you're higher up, when maybe your elbow is on your knee. So you want to try to stay long, right? You don't want to just collapse and touch the floor for the sake of touching the floor. Stand up, rise up, parallel your feet, 5-pointed star. This could also be called like glorious me, yay, here I am pose. Warrior 2 to the back of your mat. Reach forward with your right hand. Flip your right palm and reverse your warrior. So take all that, almost like you're scooping up some oxygen, and then pour it down. Look up at that hand. That hand, as in your hand. That hand above your head. Whose hand is that? Above your head. Reaching your right knee back, or forward rather, as your right hand reaches back. Extend, lengthen, and come on down. Chaturanga. Up dog. 2. Downward facing dog. So you should be back at the front of the mat. And we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this mandala flow. Look in between your hands and make your way to the top of the space. Step, hop, jump, halfway lift. Forward fold. Bend your knees. Utkatasana. So keep in mind all those little cues I gave you before, especially the one about tucking your tailbone a little bit. That's a shape people take a lot with overarching the spine. And then you know what? Stand up. Bring your hands together and bring your hands to your heart. Inhale your arms up. Chair. Exhale, fold, fold. Just stay with me. It's not hard. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Step back to high plank and make your way to downward facing dog. So you go through chaturanga, where you just lift your hips right up. Lift your right leg up. Low lunge. Warrior 1. Warrior 2. Reach, extended side angle. 5-pointed star. Warrior 2 to the back of your mat. Flip your left palm. Reach. Reverse. And then windmill your hands down. Step back, high plank. chaturanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Right side again, lift your right leg up. Little lunge. Warrior one, warrior two. Reach, extended side angle, 5-pointed star, yay me pose. Warrior two to the back of your mat. Reverse your warrior, left arm up, and then windmill your hands down. Oh no, you're back to the front of the mat. Sorry. I don't know, because I'm turning around. Chaturanga, up dog, downward facing dog. Yeah, so that was right side twice. You should be back facing the front of your mat. And now left side, lift your left leg up and bring it through low lunge. Right foot flat, warrior one, rise. Warrior two, open. Reach, extended side angle, 5-pointed star. Okay, warrior two to the back of your mat, flip your right palm. Reverse your warrior, reach, let it feel good. And then windmill down, chaturanga, down dog at the back of your mat here. And then we do our left side. Again, lift your left leg up. Bring it through low lunge. Right foot flat, warrior one. Open, warrior two. Extended side angle. 5-pointed star, everything straightens. Warrior two, back to the front of your mat. Flip your right palm. Reverse. And then, excuse me, chaturanga. Or you just go right into up dog or down dog is what I meant to say. And breathe. So that's a quick moving flow. We will only do it once. Breathe. Lift your right leg up. Bring your knee through, low lunge. Keep your back heel up this time. And come on into crescent. Push into your left toes to get your left hip point facing more forward. You're elongating in the front of your left leg and push through your heel of your left leg. Push into the heel of your right foot so you're grounding down and then rise from your rib cage. Bring your hands together. Bring your hands to your heart. Lean forward, twist. Bring your left elbow to the right knee. You could drop your back knee if that's calling to you today, or keep your knee up. Try not to collapse your chest toward the floor. Push your elbow into your knee into your elbow. And then push your top hand into your bottom hand. And maybe look up over your right shoulder. And wherever you are, whatever you're doing, breathe. Even if you're just sitting and watching this, breathe. Consciously. Unwind, runner's lunge. Bring your hands to the inside of your right leg. Drop your right knee. Left knee, sorry. Drop your left knee. Toe heel your right toes up toward the top of your mat to create some space for your torso to drape down. And maybe you could put your forearms down, your elbows down. Maybe you want to take a block. I don't have a block handy here. Maybe you want to take a block and support your head. You can also stack your fists one on the other and kind of accomplish the same thing. You don't have to do that. Just slowing down a moment. Allowing time for your hip to soften and open a little bit. Allowing softness to be okay. So in this time of the 10 days of awe, the Jewish New Year is a much more contemplative time. It's not like a champagne Happy New Year, woohoo, it's not like that. And in these days, we think about, what have I done this year? And how have I done it? Is there integrity in my action? Was I reactive or was I proactive? Was I true to my word? Did I keep promises? And if not, why? Was I not able to do certain things because they relied on other people's participation and those guys didn't come through? Or did I not put in right effort? And it's not about being mean to yourself, it's about being honest. And maybe even reassessing, well, I didn't do that because it didn't feel important, and actually it's still. We'll come back to that. Come on up if you're down. And we're going to move into Vasisthasana, rainbow pose. So bring your right leg back behind you, extend it behind you, and then bring your right arm up to the sky. And you can stay here in this version, or you can lift up your left knee and stack your feet in this version. Either way, your arm is lifting up. You can always, with your knee on or off the ground, choose to lift your top leg. And even if your top leg wasn't lifted, with your knee on or off the ground, it doesn't matter. Lift your leg a little bit, out to come to the floor behind you. Wild thing. Wild thing. You make my heart sing. You make everything groovy. Come on, wild thing. Three-legged dog, flip back over. And put your right leg down. That is enough of me singing. Lift your left leg up. Come on into crescent. We're going to twist. Whoa, but first, find your balance and find your crescent. Don't shortchange yourself, right? So really digging or diving into this pose. Digging your right heel in. Sorry, your left heel. Pushing your right heel back. Pushing your right hip forward. Elongating. Don't deny yourself the juiciness of the stretch. If you're doing yoga, do it. But again, do it honoring your own body. So if my cues don't work for you, then don't do those. Bring your hands into your heart. Shift forward. Do a little bit of that rib tuck again and then twist. Back knee on or off the ground. Try to turn your heart open to your left side. Maybe using elbow into knee into elbow as leverage to help with that. And release. Drop your right knee. Scoot your left foot up a bit. And come on into runner's lunge. So bringing your elbows down if you can, maybe laying all the way down. Maybe, again, taking a block or whatever you've got. Resting your hands on your hands or on your block. So we do not do this inventory as Jews. We Jews do this inventory as a way to be mean to ourselves. It's not the intention. The intention is to be honest, to recommit if the things are worth recommitting to, and to absolve ourselves of things we weren't able to do Either because, again, maybe you weren't able to do, it wasn't only on me to do, or because it wasn't important. And it's not, I didn't do this because I suck. Well, I meant to lose weight and I never got around to doing that, or whatever. It's, why do I keep beating myself up about these things? If they're important, do them, but if they're not, just stop. And then on Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, we atone for what we weren't really honest about or whatever. But so, one of the things I like to think about in this time is that in Judaism there's a tenet called Tikkun Olam, which means repairing the world. We'll talk more about that. Let's make our way into side plank. So your right knee is down. Bring your left leg back and long behind you. Have your right hand just underneath your shoulder. Roll open. Roll your left side open. Maybe even roll back a little bit. And if you want, lift up your right leg, or straighten your right leg rather. Try not to grind into your right shoulder. You can lift your top leg if you like and find a balance there. Some people can grab their top leg even. If you hadn't lifted it, lift it now. Drop it behind you. And come on into wild thing with no song this time. Push into your left foot. And you're lifting your left hip. Your right foot can stay long, or some people turn it flat. Breathe. Come on, wild thing. Three-legged dog, or back to regular dog. Ooh. And then look in between your hands and step, hop, jump to the top of your mat. Halfway lift, inhale, exhale, fold. Bend your knees, come up on your toes, and separate your knees wide. Have your hands on the floor flat underneath your shoulders. And if you think, oh, this looks like a setup for crow, you're right, it's a setup for crow. Come on into crow. So bring your knees as high as you can up on the outsides of your arms. And come up onto your toes. Shift your weight onto the backs of your arms. And then lift one foot, maybe both feet. Breathing here. You can bring your butt down a little bit and your gaze up. Maybe even bending your elbows a little bit more. Breathe. And then if you're in crow, so I just lost my crow. If you're in crow, what you can do is simply shoot your legs back. Don't move anything except your legs. Shoot your legs back. You're in chaturanga. Upward facing dog. To downward facing dog. And make your way to the top of your mat. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Sweep your arms out and up. Rise. Bring your hands overhead. And pull your energy into your heart. So another thing that's nice to do at a change of seasons is to take tree pose. So bring your weight into your left foot, and whatever version of tree you want to take. Maybe you keep your ankle on, your heel on your ankle. Maybe you bring your right foot to your left calf. And maybe avoiding the knee, you bring your right foot somewhere higher up on your leg. And then perhaps you grow your branches. So this is the time of year, autumn, when the leaves fall and things get a little quieter, shut down a little bit more. We're still in that funny, cold summer, fall time, but the leaves are changing. Stand up out of your left hip. Reach your arms up if your arms are up. Reach, reach, reach. And then bring your hands together. Bring your hands to your heart. Both sides. So we can't hang on to everything forever. So stand up out of your right hip if you're sinking in your hip a little bit. Really stand up out of your hip. And then perhaps again you grow your branches. You can't hang on to things forever. I'm like an anti-hoarder, to tell you the truth, but really even metaphorically, right? That's why I love to do that mandala flow. It's a reminder of cycles, of seasons. You can't hang on to everything forever. What could you let go of? Maybe you let go of the idea that you need to stand solid in tree. Maybe you let go of something a lot more meaningful, like an idea about yourself that's outdated. Maybe you really don't need to lose weight, right, or something like that. You just keep saying these things to yourself. What if you let go of that, the negative mantras? Bring your hands back together. Bring your hands to your heart and release tree. A little bit more balancing, and then we'll make our way down. If you do have a block or a water bottle or something, we're going to do come into half moon. I like to use a block when I go into half moon, so, but not at first. Step to the top of your mat and roll your shoulders up, back and down, arms face forward. Tuck your rib cage in a little bit, shift your weight to your left foot, and begin to hinge forward, coming into Vipassana. And from airplane, bring your arms out in front of you. Warrior 3. And then from Warrior 3, if you can keep it, bring your hands into your heart. And then begin to open up, bringing your left hand down, and your right hand up, half moon. Bring your right hand down. Keep your right leg up. Standing splits, which for most of us is just standing with your legs sticking up in the air. Doesn't really look a whole lot like a split, but it still is an opportunity to get a beautiful stretch in the back of your left leg. And then right foot down. Sweep your arms out and up. Rise with a flat back. Bring your hands into your heart. Right down by your side. Shift the weight into your right foot. And make your way, just go in the airplane. Just tilt forward. Maybe trying to keep your body and your leg in a line. So airplane, our chest is higher, our chest is lifting. In Warrior 3, make your way there now. You're trying to have your whole body parallel to the floor. So your torso, your arms, and your leg. Bring your hands into your heart, right hand down, left leg up. Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. What can you let go of? Your left arm down. Left leg stays up for a couple of minutes, moments, really standing splits. Breathing into whatever you can. Breathing into your lungs. Breathing into your nose. Breathing into this sensation. Letting yourself feel your stomach and not say anything mean about it. Release your left leg. down to the floor and just squat, sit, navasana, boat pose. And lay down. You might have to reposition yourself. Let's go right into bridge. I haven't done a whole lot of heart-opening back bends here, so bridge. Clasp your hands under your back, walk your shoulders together, really push into your feet. So lift your torso up. Imagine that you're also here trying to move your butt toward your heels. Right? So you're not looking to crunch into your low back ever in a back bend. Lengthening your low back by moving your butt towards your heels, pushing into your feet, open your heart, and then release. Hug your knees into your chest, rock left to right, and then again, back and forth, back and forth. And come up to seated, plant your hands, and step back into high plank. Lift your hips into downward facing dog. Right knee forward, pigeon pose. So Tikkun Olam is the idea that we are partners with God. Originally, this is there's this belief in Jewish mysticism that God created the world but left the piece unfinished. And it's our job to help God finish the world. That's the Tikkun Olam concept. And so always through the choices that we make in our lives, we're contributing to the completion of the world. So, right, you see that's a pretty heavy idea. Are you contributing for good? Are you contributing for bad? What kind of world are we making in partnership with God? And at this time, these 10 days of on, and actually a lot of times in my life, I like to think about Tikkun Olam beginning with me, but I don't mean what am I doing in the world. I mean, how am I treating myself? They say don't say things to yourself that you wouldn't say to somebody else, that kind of stuff. Bring yourself back up, tuck your left toes. We're going to just come right back into down dog and right into pigeon on the left side. Go. Left knee behind your left wrist. Letting your torso come down. So, at this, for Jews, beginning of a new year, for all of us, beginning of a new season, opportunity to let go, just like the leaves, just like the trees, their leaves, they change color and they let go. So what can you perhaps allow to shift, change, to let go of? Come down from this pigeon pose. Tuck your right toes, lift your right knee, and come into either a forearm plank or plank, but basically just come on down to your stomach. And one more back bend, heart opener, bend your knees, bow pose. Grab your feet, kick, and lift. Anything you can. Lift anything you can. Lift your attitude. So this was a lot of heavy stuff, right? But so lift your heart. Lift your attitude. Lift your spirits. It doesn't need to be, I'm a bad person. Oh, it's how can I be kinder to myself? How can I be a better person in this world? By starting with being kinder and more honest with myself, release, and then just roll over. Flip yourself over. Flip over onto your back. Hug your knees into your chest. Rock left to right. Release your left leg long. Spinal twist. Bring your right knee across to your right arm out. Look right. Send your breath into your low back here. This is such a nice stretch for your hips, for your back. Come back to center. Both knees in, right leg long, left knee stays in and twist. Left knee over your right side. Tee out your left arm and look left. Really taking a moment or two to really breathe. Really breathe. Notice how your breath affects this posture, this shape your body's in. Come back center and Shavasana. So we've got a good couple of minutes for Shavasana here by request. So I'm going to read you a poem. It's by a contemplative nun named Ganila Norris, and this poem says, I climb downstairs to the first floor and I think of ladders. The one that Jacob saw with the angels going up and down. The one rising out of the kiva. The one against the burning building on the evening news. Help me to not be so afraid of the heights and depths. Help me to concentrate on the connection between the two, those humble steps, those one after the other steps, which are really the only ones I can take. Help me learn to love a slow progression, to have no prejudice that up is better than down or vice versa. Help me to enjoy the in-between. So I'm going to sit for another minute or two until it's 1 o'clock, and then I will talk you out of this. So don't worry, the computer didn't freeze. I'm just going to give you some space. Start to bring movement back into your body, your wiggling fingers and toes, or however you like, and whatever way works for you. Come seated and pause for a moment in seated. Maybe come into a space of gratitude. Gratitude that you can even begin to think about change. Let me learn to love a slow progression. Right? What if we don't need a revolution, it's just an evolution. And each year, each season gives us a chance to just fine-tune a little bit more. We're never going to be perfect. That's why they call it a yoga practice, and maybe it's the practice of life as well. Thank you guys so much for joining me. see you again. I won't really see you, but you can see me on my mat, from your mat, next Wednesday at noon. Namaste. As always, if you have any questions or comments or feedback, I am open to hearing it.